Sunday. Happy New Year's Eve, everyone. I hope you're doing fabulous. I hope you have a lot of fun plans for tonight, regardless of where that takes you, right? Always stay safe, be wise, take care of that mind, body, soul of yours. Welcome in. I'm Deborah. This is Purusha Intuitive, and we're going to be looking at the collective energy for today. I pulled out some fun decks. They're lighthearted, you know. Maybe some people won't appreciate it, but just as a heads up, before I start, I'm going to clear out the energy because, you know, here's the thing, like, this is a fun time of year. I always love the vibe of New Year's Eve. It's actually one of my favorite holidays, low-key. And it's just such a fun time to come together, to just celebrate the year we're leaving behind, the accomplishments that we made and overcame, and ring in the new year, right? And I think it's always important to start these messages out with cleansing the energy, you know, just honoring, respecting life, the cycles. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure love and grace. I hope you're fabulous. I release all that doesn't serve us for our highest good, cleansing our heart, our mind, our soul, so we can receive beauty, abundance, fulfillment, longevity, because that's really what it's about, right? Like, we want to enjoy our time here. And so these messages are designed to help that, to help see between the lines when we don't always understand what's going on, or, you know, sometimes we need that outside perspective. Generally, I find, especially when I work with clients, and I love this, is like, a lot of times the messages are exactly what they already think, feel, know deep within. We just need something to kind of bring it to the surface so we have that validation and confirmation. Spirit will always give us that, right? Spirit will always honor the right direction. When we find resistance, stress, blocks, obstacles, that's when we have to take a beat and we really have to look at what's going on. Why is this popping up? And what does it mean, right? Not to like overanalyze everything. I do come from an environment that has a tendency to do that. I think awareness, analyzation, it helps us understand. So then we can therefore hopefully make better choices the next time around. The astrology, you know, especially over this past week or so, there's been a lot building up, a lot culminating, and so we can still feel some of that resistance, the tension, the emotional pull, overwhelming feelings, dreams, etc. So continue that process of being gentle with yourself. Sunday is about the day of the sun. The sun governs ourself, who we are, how we let that light of ours shine. It's so important to do, you know. I was thinking this morning how often, like, especially we can see this nowadays in popular culture, social media. I watched a short on something, and it was basically a celebrity who had gotten called out for posting a fake video or whatever. And they're like, her fans called her out. And I'm like, that's so funny because like, and how they called her out, it was like this microscopic detail that you really had to hunt to find. And I'm like, you know, that is this primitive human nature, right? Like, there's something very gratifying about calling people out, but at the same time, it's coming from a low vibe energy, from this space of, I know better than you, or shame on you for living this way or being this person or whatever. I'm not saying it's right, wrong either way. There's a lot of falsity in, you know, modern day social media filters, whatever, all that stuff, right? Like, we all want to look our best. I can't even imagine the amount of pressure that must be to be a celebrity, especially if you are sought after for your beauty, for your looks. you know, being a woman like that. Those things are really difficult. And so, you know, whatever, she's posting a cute video of herself, who cares, right? Like, that's just her keeping up her brand to some capacity. And my thought was, like, if we actually just like honored other people for their strengths, for who they are, instead of tearing people down, what would that actually look like? What would it be like? Like, I don't post those kinds of videos, but I, you know, don't feel as confident in that area, or it's not the brand that I'm trying to put out, right? So it would be that vibe of me being able to say, like, she's really good at that. She's a beautiful girl, you know, or woman, sorry. And it's like just honoring that part of her, right? Because then it actually helps honor that part within me. It inspires us to find our own beauty, our own authenticity, confidence in who we are. We all are beautiful, right? Not to get on a tangent, but that was a message that definitely needed to be heard today. And it's interesting with the astrology because the sun is square to our vertex point. And we are still playing that game of some tension, resistance, but then also support as well. And the sun square to the vertex point is that proverbial, like, not being afraid, regardless of what the consequences are, in reason, not being afraid to be our authentic self. As I was shuffling today, this card came out that was you do you, right? So we need to tap into that power in order to connect with that happiness, right? Living a life that feels good for who we are. Stop talking. All right. The rebel deck wants me to shut up. I do talk a lot. All right. Let's get into it though. Okay. So morning messages. Thank you for your patience. That's my own insecurity because I do have a tendency to chat. But not being afraid of that, right? Like, we don't want to be afraid of who we are or what we bring to the table because it's important. There's something that it's time to let go. It's time to move on. It's time to release and really, I feel like letting go of the lies, letting go of the stories that we tell ourselves that really aren't true. Stepping into that power that is leading us towards our abundance. The sun is trine to Jupiter today, and Jupiter has just gone direct, which is pretty awesome. We're moving towards our abundance more quickly. Have you eaten? You're acting like, oh, a big ass baby. You need food in your belly, eat a fucking taco. I love this deck. So again, that really confirms that value of nourishment that's been coming across, you know, these messages lately. Like, it's not just about food. Yes, food is a huge component. I was talking with a client the other day about the value between nourishment, this idea of being healthy, and actual nourishment, right? Nourishment for our mind, body, and soul. So really doing that check-in today of where aren't you taking care of yourself? Try to spend a little extra time, energy towards that thing. It doesn't have to be a lot, especially if you are hanging out with friends, etc., trying to take it slow. Take a shot. Yeah, okay, cool. Don't take 12, take 1. Okay, maybe 2, and then move on. So we have to figure out what works and what doesn't and not get too emotionally sucked in. And again, that's why we need to be a little bit more grounded, be a little bit more stable. The stuff that is still hanging, looming in the balance, really, this is just the time, you know, metaphorically. In reality, we're moving into a new year. So release, let it go, take care of yourself. Like, we all know, so do it, right? That was the other message I was hearing this morning as I was preparing for this reading. Be grateful for what we have. Shit could be so much worse. It's crazy, you know, I like to call them gold-plated problems, right? Because we can have all this abundance and still not be grateful, still not be thankful. You know, did we have a Christmas? Did we have people around us that loved and supported us? Even that. Did we have a roof over our head? Did we have food, shelter, things to take care of ourselves, a little extra money in our pocket? There's all these benefits that we can cling onto no matter how small they are. And when we have a grateful heart, we attract that back into our life. And part of this message about letting go is because we're letting the want energy, 5 of Cups, woe is me, I don't have what I want, my life doesn't look how I wanted it to look, you know, I'm embarrassed, I'm ashamed, whatever it is, it's like, so fucking what, right? At the end of the day, it's not about shaming what is not or longing for what's always in the future, what's always on the distant horizon. It's about working with the energy that is right in front of us. And when we spend too much time in that woe is me energy, that's when we are acting like a baby, right? Especially as adults, because 11:11 is on the clock. So, you know, sometimes we put too much energy into something. It's too big of a deal. It's limiting us too much. We're allowing the fears, the anxieties to cloud our vision. And I don't know. It's just not worth it, right? Like, life is meant to be lived. It's meant to be experienced. It's not meant to be afraid and hold ourselves back. The Hangman. So seeing things in a new light, in a new perspective. I love this deck. It's hilarious. The Zombie Tarot. It's about a zombie apocalypse. And I thought it was like perfect for this time of year. It's a fun imagery. I love how they interpret the tarot. And it's also just this reminder to be lighthearted, right? To switch your perspective around things. The more we indulge in the things that, even that we really don't want it to be that way, the more that energy is going to get amplified. I.e., you know, if you're lamenting over a situation, a relationship, a friend, family member, whatever, it is what it is, right? So how can we move forward? Yes, it sucks. Yes, we need to allow ourselves to grieve, but we don't want to stay too long in that grief energy. Mercury is going direct. Jupiter went direct. It's opening up the blocks that have been forcing us to look at the stuff, and now is that time to move on. We've gotten that message through many times. This is about our friendship, our community, those who are close to us. 3 of Cups is a celebration energy of coming together, but using your intuition, staying tapped into that. Staying balanced tonight too is a message I keep hearing. Obviously it's a big party night, so just be like really mindful about like how, not overindulging is what I hear basically. That also can block our intuition, right? I think substance, it actually makes us more porous. So if it can actually open up our intuition, right? Like psychedelics, microdosing, that's a huge thing nowadays. So it can open us up to spiritual experiences, but it opens us up so much in the way that if we're not careful, it can also let in lower vibrational, heavier entities. And like, I think alcohol is the perfect substance to say that. When you have your little buzz, it's like, but then if you overindulge, it kind of takes you to that point of bringing out your triggers, what's buried underneath the surface, etc. So it's really important to stay balanced as much as possible, you know, have a fun time. I'm all about that. But being your Empress energy, I love that confirmation, right? So it's, yes, about having a good time, but in a more practical and balanced way. Especially as we're moving into the new year. It's not going balls to the wall, or, you know, it's just not the time for that right now, because we unfortunately, this is my Debbie Downer comment, we still have to be on the straight and narrow in a certain way, the balanced energy. I think of it in terms of like, if we go too far one way, we have to rein ourselves back in, but then we have to go the opposite way, right? So that's why it's good to stay middle of the road, veer a little bit here and there, because it's easier to come back into balance, right? So tapping into that Empress energy, Taurus, Libra energy, the Hierophant, a lot of major arcana are coming up. So what makes you feel like able to keep that middle of the road, right? What are the values that you hold, the things that you tell yourself, your belief system, your dharma, that helps you stay in line? That's what the Hierophant is. It's about you. It's about what you hold dear and what you value. And I feel like there's this part of you that does have to put up some boundaries around some people and places. This might be people in your friends group. This might be people that you're hanging out with tonight. This is really saying to use your intuition when it comes to conversations, picking up things that you might not like. Obviously, don't over scrutinize, right? I'm not saying like pick apart your friends. That's not cool. But pay attention, especially if you have been having difficulty with someone, because this really is going to shift your perspective around this situation, and you're coming towards it with a really empowered energy. It's saying just like don't let yourself get sucked back in. You've worked really hard to be where you're at, right? Is this Ace of Hands? Okay, nice. So we got Ace of Pentacles, and you're setting the groundwork for that new foundation. And I feel like what you are bringing in is quite powerful. So remind yourself of that. That has been a theme as well over the past couple of days, is keep that vision of where you're headed in the forefront of your mind. Yeah, you can take a time out, have some fun, go out, you know, do whatever you want to do tonight, etc. But also don't let it block what you're building and growing. There is this level of vigilance that needs to happen. 9 of Wands, so we have some resistance. There is this energy of trying to self-protect, not really knowing who or what to trust in your environment. It's making it really hard to see clearly is what I'm hearing. It's always putting you on the defensive or leaving you in this space where like maybe it is hard to trust people. Maybe you're always having that scrutinizing eye. The Tower, I don't know. Be careful. I mean, I feel like that's again the confirmation of this middle of the road, like keeping on that straight and narrow path, because there is some conflict still in our environment. We see that a lot, even with the transits today. The moon is in opposition to Saturn, Venus is square to Saturn, and Jupiter is contraparallel. So that really talks about this energy of like what we feel, what we want, how we want things to look. It's doing the work to get there is a little bit arduous right now, unfortunately. And so again, like we can let down our guard a little bit, but we don't want to go too much one way or the other, because this is a night where, or a day or a time, you know, especially with the holidays and all the chaos, etc., where it's easy to say something that maybe you wouldn't normally say, or let someone offend you in a way that you normally wouldn't. You know, you put a little bit of alcohol or whatever your jam is into the equation, and it can be an explosive cocktail, right? So you gotta step into that Queen of Swords energy, taking things. You are the Empress. The Empress is ruled by Libra. Queen of Swords is Libra energy. Libra is all about the balancing of the scales, right? Like knowing when to let things slide by and knowing when to like put a stop to it. I feel like I said, there is this theme coming through of people you are going to have to put boundaries on tonight, whatever. Just be really like deliberate in how you set those boundaries. Queen of Cups energy, dealing with someone who is pretty emotional. I'm hearing like doesn't really get it. The Queen of Cups, King of Cups have been coming up a lot in our readings. Like this to me feels like someone who's just very self-absorbed. self-absorbed is what I'm getting with this energy. Queen of Cups is Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. All those energies are connected to our intuition, our desires, how we feel, our emotional world, etc. So if you're dealing with someone who's not taking care of that part of themselves, it can be offensive, you know? They can say, do something, whatever. And you just got to take it with a grain of salt is what I'm hearing. Because this is someone, like I said, self-absorbed. They are just kind of consumed with their own world, their own stuff. They might be a little bit intoxicated or on something. So just be really careful. Yeah, it's not worth it is what I'm hearing. It's not worth it to go down this road, because something about this, yeah, there's that fighting energy, right? The Ace of Swords. It's the fight between, maybe you want this person to take ownership. Maybe you want them to see it your way, back to what we were originally talking about. And here's the thing, as much as that is well and good, I'm all about conversations, having discussions, but there has been this lingering energy about people not respecting other people's perspective or how something felt to them, you know, or using those things as manipulative and controlling tools. Be really conscious of that. That's definitely the vibe I get from this Queen of Cups energy. It's someone who is trying to pull you down, okay? So we have the stones. This is like the representation of Stonehenge. Obviously, Stonehenge is a very spiritual site. So, you know, this can be a lot of different things, right? You can actually be involved or know people who do practice ritual ceremony. But, you know, honestly, ceremony and ritual is intention. It's all about, and people can express that intention with their words, with their thoughts, and not necessarily be, you know, doing a dance around the Stonehenge. Not to disrespect anything, you know, spiritual in nature by any means, because there are some really beautiful practices that come from ceremony and ritual. Pretty much like all modern day religion is rooted in those practices. So what I'm hearing is it's really kind of just, you know, not getting sucked into other people's BS, not letting someone throw you off. Really be conscious of how they're affecting you. Is this like, you know, because the original message was to move on, right? Like, it's time to let go. It's time to release the people, places, and things that really haven't been serving us. Maybe this person is someone that you just don't really want to deal with anymore. Maybe you see through them. Maybe you really want them to own their shit, and maybe they just can't, right? So it's like, I'm hearing with this limb energy, it's more about the concept of amputation, not to be vulgar, but like, you know, cutting off the dead limb, cutting off the things that, you know, are actually just kind of festering more wounds. And if left unattended, it is going to, you know, permeate into the rest of our body. We have to have that efficacy. So this value of rising above, of not getting sucked in, not getting pulled down, not letting someone dictate how we're going to show up, standing strong and firm in that Empress power. You know, she's holding her boundaries, she's holding her distance, she's not allowing people to come in that might threaten what, you know, she's building. Threaten her garden, so to speak, you know, with the zombie child. Okay, the bottle. So it's places that we confine and restrict ourselves, that we limit ourselves, that we allow ourselves to live under this microscope of other people. Going back to that message, you do you. There's always going to be naysayers. And I think it really beautifully ties in with that celebrity short I was watching today, because it's like, if anything, nowadays, it's 10 times more amplified. And if we're constantly focused on, you know, situating ourselves so we get affirmation, accolades from people that like probably don't even deserve to be around us, that's where we have to take that second look. Why am I doing this? Is this for me or is this for someone else? And things are coming to head. We're seeing things clearly, things that we didn't even allow ourselves to see beforehand. People are being immature. The child, you might have a child involved in your situation. Really, again, stepping into that Empress energy of love, of protection, of nurture, if you have children involved, you know, or this is also nurturing of your own inner child. And then also recognizing where people can be like just immature, you know. I feel like that's like the heavy energy or the main theme is that it's like this, you know, this push and pull between people who want to be honest, want to be authentic, want to live in their path, in their truth, and the people who are taking shortcuts to get there, essentially, by bringing you down, talking shit, gossiping, saying lies, whatever the F it is. There is this energy of tension and resistance. And so we have to keep like dotting our I's, crossing our T's, maybe a little bit of walking on eggshells. I feel like you're going to feel the most empowered the more that you don't care, right? So spending this day in preparation before you do anything around, you know, just like I said, honoring yourself, giving yourself a little extra time, extra wellness, extra, you know, just an easy morning type vibe is what I'm hearing, so that you come to whatever you're doing tonight, whatever situation this is with the Tower, so that you come to this place in a way that is strong, that is empowered, and you're not afraid to let that light shine. So yeah, I hope it is such a fabulous New Year's Eve for you. I might post a video tonight, I'll see. If not, I will touch base tomorrow. I hope you have happy, safe celebrations. Be your fabulous self. You deserve to let that light shine. Thank you for your time and energy always. I'm sending love and blessings to you and yours.